The Nintendo 64 is a console which tends to divide most gamers. Launching back in 1996 as the gaming industry's bread and butter while switching from sprites to polygons, the console represents the first time Nintendo really dropped the ball. Tired of the platform holder's licensing terms, many developers jumped ship to Sony's PlayStation, attracted by fairer deals and cheaper disc-based games. In the meantime, Nintendo doubled down on the esoteric piece of hardware with confusing, bright-coloured controllers that were arguably a little out of step with gaming's aging audience. On the other hand, for many gamers, the Nintendo 64 invokes some of the very warmest and strongest game memories. It was while banishing the console's even three-pronged controller that many of us take our first steps into the three-dimensional gaming world. From the Mushroom Kingdoms of Hyrule to the unrivaled excitement of 4-player split screen on Mario Kart and GoldenEye, it holds a special place in many of our hearts. Over this short series of videos, we were looking at 50 of the best games ever released for the Nintendo 64 based on user ratings. Today we will look at the next 10 games in the list, ranked 30 through 21. Number 30, Harvest Moon 64, user rating 8.09 out of 10. As with most entries in this series, its gentle cycle of farm work and soul-based simulation has the potential to suck hours and days from your life. It's wholly a technical masterpiece, but tending to livestock, sowing seeds, harvesting your crops, and striking a relationship doesn't require massive hardware house horsepower. And the series' 64-bit entry is as engrossing as ever. Number 29, Rayman 2 The Great Escape, user rating 8.12 out of 10. A strong 3D platformer on a system that's hardly lacking in that department, Rayman 2 The Great Escape saw Ubisoft's gangly protagonist make the jump from 2D in a colourful adventure that delivers practically everything you could want from this genre. It's not quite on the level of Rare or Nintendo's efforts, but it's still a great Rayman game. Number 28, Mischief Makers, user score 8.12 out of 10. A side-scrolling platformer on a system with very few of those to its name. Treasure's Mischief Makers is a brilliant little 2D platformer that has gained a cult following over the years, however made little impact at the time. Back in the late 90s, anything that wasn't 3D was largely dismissed by the mainstream as old hat. Do yourself a favour, track this one down and give it a go. You won't regret it, trust me. 27, Sin and Punishment, user score 8.17 out of 10. Gamers in the West wouldn't be able to get their hands on Treasure's hectic 64 on rails shooter until it came to the Wii U Virtual Console. On original release, it quickly became a cult classic thanks to its developer's heritage and its Japan-only status. While it's probably not worth importing a Japanese console to play this game, its sequel, Sin and Punishment style successor for Wii, arguably improves on this foundations in every way. This is still, however, a very fine shooter to play. Number 26, Doom 64. User score 8.18 out of 10. Doom 64 offered a unique take on the series' brand of shooting quite unlike previous iterations. It's different, but different doesn't mean bad in this case, and it's achieved something as a cult status over the years. Thankfully, the re-release means it's easier and way cheaper to play these days, but real fans know that you need the Nintendo 64 controller in your hand to get that true Doom 64 experience. Number 25, Mario Golf, user score 8.18 out of 10. Camelot brought Mario and his golfing pals onto the 3D fairways in its excellent entry in its long category of sports games. Whilst we're disappointed that later games like Mario Golf Super Rush don't match the quality of older entries, it's Mario Golf that will forever be remembered as the OG. Number 24, Pokémon Stadium 2, user score 8.22 out of 10. The original Pokémon Stadium was great, but Pokémon Stadium 2 expanded the concept to play alongside the mainline Game Boy games. It included Pokemon from both the Johto and Kanto regions and offered some juicy extras if you owned the Game Boy entries. Only in the soundtrack department did it arguably not live up to its predecessor, but otherwise this is an incredible entry in a long list of Pokemon games. Number 23, Wave Race 64, user score 8.26 out of 10. Whatever you do, don't go back and play Wave Race 64. Its incredible water physics, tight controls, chunky visuals and titanic brilliance will immediately have you complaining about the absence of this series from Nintendo consoles since the GameCube. How Nintendo hates its fans and doesn't want their money, and how success of the Switch means there's space for these lesser known franchises to make a return. Trust me, save yourself and don't do it because you'll never put it down. Number 22, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, user score 8.3 out of 10. You'd be forgiven for thinking of Tony Hawk as predominantly PlayStation franchise. However, it eventually turned up on practically every console of the day and got a bunch of Nintendo 64 ports which stand up very well alongside their disc-based counterparts. Edge of Reality's version may have come a year after PlayStation game, but it holds its own in almost every department. Number 21. Mario Tennis user score 8.31 out of 10. The first in the Mario Tennis series was one of the winning doubles team in the Mushroom Kingdom sports department from Camelot. The studio also released the brilliant Mario Golf for Nintendo 64, as well as the Game Boy Color versions of each game that linked up with their home console cousins via the transfer pack. Mario's played a lot of tennis over the years, but this remains one of the finest. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed. Of course, punch a like button, comment down below, of course, subscribe to this channel for my Twitter and Instagram links down below as always. And of course, we are a partner with TubeBuddy. First link in the description for YouTube link, tag.us, all the good stuff. So that's something that you are interested in and will find helpful, like I did. First link in the description. Trust me, I wonder how you're going to write it. And of course, I'll partner on the channel, so when you head down below, hit the join button to support myself and the channel. It would be greatly appreciated for who your benefits. But of course, you never have to. But if you don't, you have to subscribe and watch the next video. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'll be next talk. I'll see you all again very soon.